Canada up against Peru. Do you guys watch the Peru-Chile match? And if you did, on behalf of all things football, I apologize.
Well,
Pretty awful.
I was still at the bar. You guys had left. You guys were all hammered.
Were you there by yourself? Or were you with Alex still?
Alex, yeah. Alex
Okay.
McKechnie came down. Hadn't seen him for a while. It's good to see him.
Yeah, Alex McKechnie. Yeah, absolutely. I had a good chat with him, but I had a few pints by that point, so I don't remember what it was about. But
Yeah,
always
nothing worse
an
than a guy showing up, a bunch of drunk guys.
I know. We had fun though. But yeah, so they're
We
playing
did.
Peru. Do you anticipate any changes, Dubs? I mean, the two I can think of, and I mean, maybe Schaffelberg gets in there for Tejon, given how he came off the bench and played so well. Maybe Richie gets in there. I'm not sure where. What are your thoughts?
I wouldn't be disappointed to see either one. I think Schaffelberg is probably better utilized as a sub, and I think the fact that he can, you see him with Nashville, he's most often deployed on that left-hand side, but you can also, as you saw, successfully deployed on the right, cutting in on that favored left foot. I think Richie, I love his physicality. I think he's getting back up to match fitness, where Marsh can probably give him a little bit more minutes. But I'm of the opinion that you just leave this 11 and then maybe anticipate some changes a little bit earlier. I think you give them a run out so that they get to dominate, they get to dictate. You get to see these guys on the ball a little bit more, and you see what comes of it, because all of the partnerships and the cohesion, I think we've seen out of possession. We've seen them do well defensively. There have been, bright spots. We've seen them create opportunities, which is great. They're attacking the box. We've talked about the clinical edge missing a little bit of incisiveness as well. But they're getting in there. So you see them be on the ball a little bit more, maybe occupy that kind of dangerous space a little bit more and see what they can do. I think a Tejon Buchanan, who's disappointed, he's been somebody that people have been talking about. I think that's why substitutions have been maybe on people's mind, because I think he's underperformed. But I mean, if he's able to kind of live a little bit more, on that right flank, combine a little bit more, which we haven't seen them really do, I think, on the right. We saw it more in the left with Davies and Miller. I think you let them do that. You allow them the time to do it against an opponent that's probably going to give them a little bit more of the ball.
As well, Dubs, he's been playing for Inter, but coming off the bench. And that's you get kind of used to that, and hard to get into a momentum and a swing of things as a starter. So I think it'd be worth seeing him again. Let's face it. I wouldn't just go by that. But yeah, I'm with you on that. Why not just keep the same? They're going to create some chances.
Yeah.
We know that. And, Jimmy, we talk about identity. I mean, you got to credit Marsh. That team looks like they already have an identity, and certainly been better defensively, although Argentina created a lot of chances, but we expected that. But I think he's ahead of the game. I got to be honest with you.
I think you have to start with the same lineup, because it's a match that you got to win. And are we capable of beating Peru? 100%. I watched Peru the other day against Chile, and I thought both teams were terrible. Mm-hmm. Absolutely terrible. It was a terrible brand of football. No rhythm in the game. It got a little bit chippy at points, but there was nothing on that pitch where I went, oh, we could be in a little bit of trouble here. This player is going to cause us problems. You look at Peru's lineup. I think they got one player. Is it Lapadula that plays in Serie A? The rest are all guys that play in their domestic league, or maybe I think there's the goalkeepers in Greece, a couple of MLS players. But compared to what we have and where our players are playing, they don't have anything on paper that can match what we've got. And I think they're going to be absolutely terrified of the pace that we have as well. And I think you have to start your best 11, because this is a match that we can win, and we need 3 points. I don't think it's time to tamper with the lineup right now. Get the best players, get the job done. Because then that puts you on 3 points. And then against Chile, who I think we could beat as well, even if you get in a draw, then you're going through more than likely.
I think the way they set up as well, did they not start in like a 3-5-2? It's a little bit more open. I think will give Canada a lot of opportunities on the break and transition. And I think that they are strong there. Like they are going to have more of the ball, but I think that's a great opportunity for Canada to go at them. Like you're saying, the tempo and the speed, the pace of the game. I think that's where Canada can really do some damage against Peru.
Yeah, absolutely. I was thinking about it the other day, and people are talking, it's Chile, it's Peru, and I'm like, fuck, we don't give ourselves enough credit of what we've got here in Canada. And for me, we're better than both of those teams. Better than both of them. Okay, I think 1975 was when Peru won a Copa America. Okay, well, we've won a Gold Cup. We've won our CONCACAF region. We've won a trophy. You've got a trophy. Big deal. But why do we put so much emphasis on these other teams that are in Peru, in Chile? Fuck no. No, we're better.
Jimmy, I think
We're
we
better
do
than what we got.
we do
Huh?
overhype Commonwealth Bowl teams, right? Because I mean
We
that
always
World
do.
Cup qualifying is, fantastic way to qualify. One table. It's South America, right? Which comes with that romantic spin to it. Oh well, South American football. But you're right. I mean, Chile's a different beast, I suppose, because Chile was an excellent team, right?
Okay, I'll give them credit. Yes, Chile
2015,
produced,
16, they won Copa.
yeah, they produced some players, right? They had a spell there where they had a bit of a golden generation. Absolutely.
Yeah.
They had some great play. But Peru, fuck me. Come on.
Yeah.
Come on. Did you watch Bolivia in the States?
Yeah,
Last
a
night?
little bit. Yeah.
States look good in
States
that second half.
absolutely battered them.
Yeah.
Battered them.
Bolivia were poor though. Like the
Oh.
US were made to look good. They created a ton of opportunities. It's amazing to me, like how even Ricardo Pepi didn't have a hat trick. I think instead he didn't get any, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, but Bolivia were not good. But I think the US looked a little bit disjointed, and I think they were made to look better by a poor Bolivian side.
It was unfair though. I mean, they made Bolivia play beneath 25,000 meters above sea level. So it's
True.
not fair on them.
Yeah,
All that lovely air.
level
They weren't
playing
used to
field
it.
charms. Level playing field, which is grass on top of turf, which has been
Yes.
another discussion point, right? across the
Jesus.
continent?
Evens out.
Yeah. Not great though, eh?
No.
Not great. Get that sorted out for the World Cup, people. Jesus, Murphy. FIFA's got to be a little bit concerned, haven't they?
Jesus, Murphy. Who are you, Chris Walsh? It's my dad's favorite.
Is it really? Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
I haven't used it before in the show. Maybe not.
No, I don't
Louis
think
is
so.
very inclusive.
It's one of my favorites. I am leaning towards Jesus Christ over Jesus Murphy, but yeah,
Right?
it's one of my favorites. Yeah.
One of the
Um,
things, this tournament is bringing is a ton of eyeballs on players and our players in particular. You know, clubs take punts on players that do well in these tournaments, sometimes wrongly. I mean, I saw West Ham did it back in the day in 1998 World Cup. After that, when Chile played quite well and Javier Margas came, but he didn't settle at all at West Ham with the language and culture. His family didn't settle, whatnot. So, but there's talk of David and Chelsea, and
Mhm.
I could see that actually happening. He's in his last year of his contract. Little are going to want to get something for him. He's not going to be overly expensive. Well, I mean, relatively, they'd probably take 25 to 35 million pounds for him. And that's a pretty decent price for him, I think, to take a punt on.
On David?
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see
was
that.
rumored
And
this
the other
weekend,
thing is, too, if Coney and Cornelius keep showing well throughout this tournament,
Yeah.
they could be getting a nice little move as well.
Mhm.
That's why
Coney's
you're
into Roma. Roma's
Yeah,
sniffing around Coney.
you're desperate to get out of this first round, get into the later stages, because that just helps you out even more.
And Forrest, you mentioned West Ham. I think there's been whispers of them as well interested in Kone. And then
Yeah.
Cornelius, I think Copenhagen. So if that move comes to fruition, then he'd be playing Champions League, right? Like, that's huge.
Massively.
Interesting. Big moves coming up for these players. But I mean, this is a massive game, though, is it not? Like you said, Jimmy, they're a team Canada should expect to have a good performance against Peru, but they have lost a few in a row, right? They've got to start winning at some point. And right now, we're all, championing this team and for good reason, but they've got to start picking up some wins. If they put in a bad performance tomorrow against Peru, the whole narrative shifts, right?
I can't see us losing against Peru. There's no way. I can't see it. I'm sorry. I'm putting everything on us beating Peru.
If your aunt had balls, she'd be your uncle.
Exactly.
Yep.
What?
She would.
I'm expecting a good performance and a good result. I really am.
Okay, but Craig, we did mention it. It's easy to champion them for that performance against Argentina, but there were a lot of chances that gave up as well, right? We shouldn't dismiss this. I know it's Argentina. I know it's Messi threading those balls, but we shouldn't dismiss them. They were. It wasn't a great.
They're World Cup winners.
No,
of course, you're going to give up chances.
Right? Sure. But we gave up chances.
Not like if what?
But they gave up chances through the middle once again, right? They were breakaways. I don't care who you're playing, they're breakaways.
Okay.
That's a worry, is it not? Something to work on.
Oh yeah, I mean it's still not a finished product, but I think, like I said about Marsh, I think the project is ahead of schedule. I would think.
Jimmy, sorry, Dubs, can you respond to Jimmy's anger there? Dare I suggest that they
I
weren't
was just
100% perfect?
going to let you guys go there. I thought that stopped prematurely. I was excited to see a little bit of back and forth there. Yeah, I mean, I think, who do you guys think is going to score the first goal in the Jesse Marsh era?
David's been quiet in front of goal, hasn't he?
Mm-hmm.
He's due.
I would love it to be John David.
Yeah.
I think that'd be the most important. Get that confidence.
Yes, I think the side needs it to be John David. I mean, I don't think they're going to care who actually does it, but I think it's a shift a little bit. And to your point about the concerns at the back, I think that's when they were throwing a lot of numbers forward, but they were also miscues. They were errors. So they'll be looking at that in video and
they're the world champions. Messi, for Christ's sake, you stupid.
We're gonna create chances.
Jesus, Murphy, you let me finish my point. So they'll be tidying that up, but I think defensively that's not my concern. I think they can't underestimate this Peruvian side, right? I think it's a shift. It's a shifting of gears a little bit where you're not the underdog. So from a mentality and a mindset perspective, Marsh will be preparing them for that, to attack and approach the game a little bit differently. You take care of things at the back. I think Crepo is between the posts again, and then you're seeing not only the partnership between Cornelius and Bombito, but it's also the understanding between Crepo, and he's playing really aggressively, and you have to have good communication and a good understanding of the guys in front of you, especially that center back pairing. But yeah, they can't fall into the trap of thinking, okay, we're expected to win this, or we're going to have more of the ball. We're going to be the ones kind of dictating affairs and the way that the game goes. But you can't get your foot off the gas pedal. You have to keep kind of forging ahead, because this is just another kind of experience that they can add to their lockers as they keep progressing. Because as Forrest said, I really do agree with you, Kreger, about thinking like Marsh is ahead of the game at this point, but they have to keep building, because they're not taking stock of the fact that, 3 games in that things are like fait accompli. They're not. They're looking ahead, and this is another part of like our building block along the way. But results and goals have to come. Have to.